Hello, and welcome back to Making Sense with Your Money. This is episode 5. Is an annuity right for me?
Well, we get this question a lot, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah.
We have somebody come in and say, well, my neighbor told me about this great annuity that they have. Should I have one too? So when is it right for someone to have an annuity?
Sure. I mean, you answered the question, I think, in your retirement red zone, which is it totally depends, right? I think there's a lot of uses that we see are best for when it comes to annuities with clients. So let me kind of talk about a couple of those categories. The first is, when we're talking to a client for the first time and trying to figure out, are certain products right for them, it all comes down to what their needs are, especially when it comes to retirement needs, right? So for annuities, as you talked about in the retirement red zone, the whole point of them is to create a fixed guaranteed stream of income. So is that something that the client needs? Not everybody needs that. So that's number one. Are you looking for fixed income? And then are you looking for guarantees? And if the answer is yes to both of those, then we start to look at, could this make sense, in your overall plan? There's also a place in time, though, for fixed annuities. So as you talked about before, fixed annuities offer you a fixed guaranteed rate based upon interest rates is what your growth is going to be. And sometimes we have clients who aren't looking for that income, but really want to stress that guaranteed and want that guaranteed growth. And they maybe have money in banking instruments, a traditional checking, savings, even some CDs right now, where they're just not getting the growth that they want. So sometimes fixed annuities may offer a better rate than what they're getting there, and that may be a viable option. It really is case specific.
Sure. So, I know you went through who should maybe own one. So who shouldn't possibly own an annuity? Are there
Sure.
maybe some red flags as to what types of people shouldn't have an annuity?
Yeah, I mean, we run across, clients all the time who either, own them or they don't, or maybe their buddy owns one and they want to because they heard it was good. And once again, there's no blanket rule, but there are some, like you said, red flags that generally would say, this might not be the best tool to get the job done. So one of the things that we look at is, what are your liquidity needs? So with annuities, one of the things that we haven't talked about is that generally they are going to be limited on liquidity, so the amount of money that you can get at and access to them. So not necessarily the income stream, but what if you want to dip into that principal? So with annuities, generally they carry what's called a surrender schedule, which can last a period of years. Some are short, some are longer. It really depends on the product and the different program that you're in. But regardless, most carry to some degree the surrender schedule. And what that means is that your liquidity during those years, the first few years or maybe 5 years, 8 years of owning this contract, the amount that you can get at the principal may be limited. And if you want to get a lot of it out, there may be a cost to do so. It's called a surrender fee. So that's something to really be aware of, which is if I'm going to use this type of vehicle, am I going to need money above and beyond what I'm going to be getting from that income, or the amount that I can get out of the contract under what's called a free surrender. Some contracts do have that available where you can access around 10% of what you put in without any of those penalties each year.
Cool. So where have you seen that annuities are best used? What types of people are you saying, yes, this probably would make sense for you?
Yeah, I think, when we're working with clients, one of the things that people are really always striving for is having that ideal retirement, right? Having not a lot of worries when they lay their head in bed at night, which I know sounds cliche, but it's true, right? You worked all these years, you've saved all this money, you probably have more money than you ever thought that you'd have saved sitting in a 401k or an IRA. And now you're up. Now you've got to take an income from this and hopefully not have to go back to work, right? That's everyone's goal. So I think that's where an annuity can really have a good place for people who are looking for that guarantee, who want to have that peace of mind when they sleep at night. So most individuals, when you ask them, people who are retired, who's your ideal person that you look up to who's retired? Who has the best retirement? Their answers are generally going to be people who have a great Social Security and a great pension, right? They work for the state or they worked for the federal government, whatever it may be. But we know not everybody has that. Pensions are kind of the way of the dinosaur at this point. So, when it comes to annuities, if you don't have a pension and you really want one of those to couple with your Social Security to cover those fixed expenses so that you don't have to worry about what's going on in the investment world, that you're getting this guaranteed stream of income that will cover it, annuities can be a really great place for it. Once again, under the pretense of you don't need, liquidity to that money that you're putting in there. You have money elsewhere, and it makes sense in your overall plan.
Sure. So if you have further questions, please schedule an appointment through our Calendly link. Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and as always,
Go Bills!